gift giving isn't really my love language, but like the people that have given me stuff are really kind. Like there's been two friends. I have a friend that's a woman in Canada that gave me a couple blankets, and I have a friend in the United States that gave me the game A Feast for Odin. So yeah, they're not Generation Z. Maybe Generation Z, you need to, learn a lesson. But I've met like Generation Z and millennial dudes that have hooked me up with pizza and like Red Robin. So what I'm saying is like, that's not really my love language, but what I'm saying is you showing me that kind of kindness is good. My love language is touch. Like if you're a chick and you won't let me hold you or hug you or hold your hand, you're not really my chick. If you come up to me hateful, you're not my chick. If you come third personing and it's still hateful, you're not my chick. If you come in like talking about how some other dude is your love interest, whether it's a celebrity or some guy you're not my chick. We can be friends, but we can't date at that. So, like, if I'm gonna approach you and you're just like yada yada yada, like presuming what I'm gonna do, you're gonna give me a headache. So we can't really date at that. The way that you approach me, if you're a woman and you're between 18 and 24, is you have to be between 18 and 24, because otherwise I'm not interested in you sexually. I want to get married and have kids one day. If you come in like wagging your finger, that's an offense to me because I didn't ask. You don't like unsolicited dick pics. I don't like unsolicited advice. So like if you see me somewhere and you want to like get my attention in a positive way, come up and say hi or how are you, just like I would if you were there and there were no boyfriends around, which is usually the case because you always have boyfriends around when you talk to me, which isn't good for me. If you come up disrespecting me, it's not good. So you have to come up happy and you have to say, hi, how are you? If you're a guy and you do that, I would like you to have the hookup. You know what I mean? Like, the best gift that you could give me is to introduce me to women that I'm interested in. If you're not doing that, then we are not hanging out anymore, because I am not here to be the third wheel while the women go fuck some other guy. That's really fucking rude of you to put me in that situation, and it's boring. I gotta pretend like I'm delightful in order to get to the Facebook where I'm comfortable, or Instagram, and say, you know what, that was offensive towards me. So I'm just putting it out there. If there's another sesh or party and you invite me and it's college-aged people, if you're blocking me from talking to the women, or the women are going to dudes and I'm not one of these dudes, what's the point of me being there for me? Alcohol? No, that's not good enough. Weed? No, that's not good enough. $1 million? No, that's good enough. I want to talk to the women. Do you understand? If you're gonna shit talk, don't talk to me. Alright? Yeah. I do that all the time, don't I? I don't know. I probably have a little bit of an inheritance coming, like in 20 or 30 years. You really need to meet my parents and my step-parents, though. You know what I mean? Sorry I'm squinting. It's a little sunny out here and you can't really see that. But, like, my dad and stepmom don't have grandkids, and they're awesome people. And I have two brothers, and then there's me who really wants to have kids, and they don't, apparently. Younger and older brother. I have a mom and stepdad, and they're great grandparents, and they're also great grandparents because my nieces have children, and I'd like you to be able to meet them. Like, I have maybe, I don't know, $100,000 or something like that when they pass on, but hopefully that won't be for a while, because you'll miss out on their love. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're good people and they deserve to have grandkids. if you can't really do that to me, I'm not going to date you and I'm not going to have sex with you because you're not really what I want. You have to be Gen Z. You have to be between 18 and 24. I'm not here to tolerate age phobes any more than I'm here to tolerate racists. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. How much money do I make? Well, I get the disability check because I have bipolar. You being an ableist, I don't know. I smoke weed and I chill out. I don't really think that I have bipolar because my anger, when I have it, as infrequently as it really is, you know, maybe it's once a week that I'm mad. And you see videos of me yelling, but I'm like swallowing my pride and like going away in order to get it out of my system so nobody hears me, or I put it on video. I'm multifaceted. I have many emotions. I'm not just a non-emotional cat. A lot of actors and politicians have bipolar, so I'm not really here to tolerate bigotry on that front, or a lot of fronts. Like if you're there like saying that I'm white and I can't say nigga, you're a racist. If you're saying that I can't date younger women, you're an age phobe. If you're saying that I don't have enough money, you're a classist. If you say that I weigh too much, you're a weightist. If you say that I'm too tall, you're a heightist. I don't do that to people, so don't do that to me. If you got an attitude problem, like you're trying to be the other comedian of the same vein, well, that's not going to work for me. I don't mind if you're funny or I want to be a comedian. It's just like if you're roasting me after I roasted you, well, I'm not really here to be in that kind of situation. I like to roast things on the internet, and then when I am with people IRL, I like to shut up and observe. And if I'm in a situation where the women are going to be my platonic friends, they better be on lock, because if they're single and you're talking to me, you're cock blocking me, and that's not a good dude maneuver. If we're in a situation and I'm not a viable dude to the hottest chicks in that situation, I'm bored and I'm leaving. Or as soon as it's done, I'm probably going to get rid of you or express again how I feel. So, you know, I really am not here to tolerate intolerance towards me. And I stand up for a lot of things on the left and stuff. So, like, you know, it's your choice. If you're mean-spirited, I'm shutting the door in any way that I can. You need to know this about me. I don't tolerate intolerance towards me. That's how you get walked on by narcissists. You have to be a little narcissistic, but you can't be too narcissistic. And you can't be too empathic. So, like, I don't feel like we're friends, Spokane. I feel like you're using me and manipulating me. And your shit talk makes you seem like a shitty person. If you can't acknowledge that religion and politics are things that we need to talk about as barriers or economic situations, like with Bernie Sanders and stuff, then we're not really on the same level. You know what I mean? If you gotta, like, call me names, I gotta call you names in return, and that's not really a fun friendship for me. Been in plenty of friendships where it's like, this is not gonna last. And I've been in plenty of friendships like, this will last. This dude is respectful towards me, or this chick is respectful towards me. You know, like, if you're single, I'm gonna talk to you like you're single. If you act single, I'm going to presume that you're single, even if you're, like, looking backwards at me when you have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? But I'm still going to look, oh, there's a boyfriend there? You're trolling me, which means you're a bully. IRL, when it's just me, I'm usually just walking around, keeping to myself. And I think more people need to do that. In a sesh or a bool, I would be somebody that would want to talk to the women, and if they're not 18 to 24 and into me and attractive to me, hot college chicks. Are they hot college chicks? That could be a nerd, that could be a scene girl, that could be a preppy, that, white, black, brown. Are they hot college chicks? If they're just, alright, no. I'm not interested, I want to have strong kids. This is all genetic, this is all what you need to do. If you come in hateful towards me, I didn't ask. Do you expect me to throw a dick pic towards you if you're a chick? She didn't ask. Are you going to not forgive me for my behavior when I was younger? Well, I didn't ask you to continue hating me. I would prefer you to stop. And if you don't, well, if it's a situation where I can block you over the internet, then I will. If it's a situation where I have to call the cops, I will. If it's a situation where I feel like I'm going to get hurt, I'm not going to be in that situation. Because I feel like if people come up bringing up the past with angry intent, well, that's not a bad situation. If you're talking to me and you know a lot of chicks and you have a girlfriend, I don't see why you're talking to me except to troll me, and that's a bad situation. If you know chicks, please talk to me, Spokane. If they're between 18 and 24 and hot and if not, then, I'm not really interested. We could smoke weed or, drink together, maybe. But if it's a party situation, it's a party situation. And I'm here to talk to the women, not the guys, because I want a girlfriend. What's not in the cards is you showing intolerance towards me. That'll end quickly. I want to talk to women. I'm not I'm not gay, you know what I mean? And a lot of gay guys want to talk to women, There's no problem with there being a party where there's a gay guy there. There's no problem with that. Why do I want a girlfriend? Because I'm a guy. Glasses. The money situation. Well, I get the disability thing, and I get food card money. So it's sort of around $12,000 a year. Also, after books are bought for school when I'm in school, it's an extra $3,000 that I can just do anything I want with. About maybe a little more. So it's kind of $15,000 a year, sort of, because of the food card money. And if I'm going to school, I'm not going to go to school because you women haven't learned how to treat me yet. You've talked to me only when you have boyfriends. I'm not here to just be platonic friends with Gen Z. If you're a bigot, like an age phobe or a classist, it's not my kind of situation. Don't talk to me when you have a boyfriend if we're not friends already. If we're friends already or we know each other already, usually we are friends. If we're friends already and you have a boyfriend, fine, whatever. It's not like I'm going to say we can't be friends because you have a boyfriend. But you acting like you love me when you have a boyfriend is disingenuous to me and that guy. You coming up with the smart ass stuff where it's oh, what about me? I'm not good enough? Dude, I'm not gay and I'm not here to be a homophobe just to make you comfortable. I'm not here to be around mean-spirited people. I would much rather be alone than to be around mean-spirited people. If you're going to be a cockblock, you're not a good dude. So, yeah, $15,000 a year right now. But if I go back to school, I will work on trying to become a board game designer. Or maybe my interests will change and I'll try to do something else. But if you're going to talk to me like you love me and you're chicks, I want phone numbers. I'm not here to just be the third wheel in your situation. And I'm not here to just be cock-blocked. And I'm not here for the age phobia. And I'm not here for you to just say, hi, how are you, then you leave. I'm here for you to come up, say, hi, how are you, and be interested in me on that level. I'm not here for you when I'm laughing and you're asking me how I'm doing. Because I'm laughing. You're trolling, and that's what needs to stop. If it's a sesh, it's a bull. If it's a bull, it's a sesh. So if we're in that situation, there's single chicks there. They better be interested in me, and they better be what I'm looking for. Otherwise, you go do you, and I'll go do me, because this is getting really old. Yeah, I'm not going to school, single anymore. I did that last year. You yelled I love you at me, and then you didn't prove it. Where's the phone numbers? Yeah, that's all bullshit. Don't lie to me. I'm not here for platonic friends with Gen Z chicks. If you don't see me as dateable, then I'd rather you just don't talk to me. Don't talk to me in the mall. Don't talk to me in public. If you don't see me as dateable, Gen Z, don't talk to me. I'm not interested in guys. I'm not gay, and I'm not homophobic. But you approach me with the smart-ass, what about me attitude. You try to talk to me when your boyfriend is standing right there with shit that I already know about myself, like, oh, I needed to get headphones because the people shit talking were annoying in Spokane. You're still annoying. You're there knowing women without the hookup. That's all foul. I would rather be alone than to have to deal with your fucking horse shit. Where are the women at? Well, atheism has always been around. At least, like, since humans, maybe even proto-humans, or even, like, the common ancestor of chimps and humans that came before both species. Because the first spirituality was animism. And that's the idea that, like, birds and rocks and starlight and emotions and things have a soul or a spirit. Like Native Americans, like even Africans believe that. Human beings had to invent the concept. Kind of like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or the fairy creatures that live in the Europe or Asia or Africa. We invented those concepts. We know there are no trolls and leprechauns and unicorns and things because there's no evidence of any of that. There's like quasi-evidence, but it's not evidence enough to draw a scientific conclusion. Science is really at the basis just asking questions about things. Even philosophy is sort of a proto-science. And then gaining evidence and then following that evidence. And we were doing that long before we came up with animism. Just because there was animism that bound the clan or the group together doesn't mean that there really were spirits in rocks and trees. It just means that they used that story logic as a way to explain things before they had an explanation. In other words, they just sort of made stuff up. But, you know, when they began like 1 + 1 = 2, that's sort of the beginning of history, because history is the act of writing things down. Before that is prehistory. So, despite the fact that there were probably people that said this God stuff is hogwash during the clan and tribe days of the human species, and that they killed those guys because they didn't want the truth to be revealed, that there's no such thing as theistic explanations for things that have scientific evidence beyond faith. You know that they killed the atheists, right? You know that they still do that in some countries, right? What I'm saying is we invented God as human beings. So there was a point before that invention, just like there was a point after that invention, where we were both asking ourselves what the explanation was for things. Like if the first time a primate saw lightning, it didn't think, well, that's my version of God. It thought, well, that's hot and bright and scary. They didn't think that was God. They later made up animism as an explanation. So atheism, if you think about it, is as old as human beings and possibly even older than that. Cats and dogs have a God? I don't think so. Like in the wild? No, not really. They sort of worship us as pets.
but, turtles in the wild don't have a god. And human beings, when they were not writing things down, didn't have a god. Oh, that's lightning, that's hot and bright and scary, I'm going to stay away. Later on, that is the god of lightning. Atheism predates theism by at least 100,000 years. That's not even hyperbole. Gen Z. The vast majority of you are left-wing. So in that, you and I have common ground. I'm Gen X, but you can't reasonably be an age phobe in the dating world or a classist if you're for equal treatment of all. I mean, if you're a Republican or a centrist Democrat, this conversation is something that, or even apolitical, this is something that, where you would begin hateful, and I was a teacher, I'd make you wait outside because you would interject bigoted opinions. If you can't shut up with the bigoted opinions, or like the finger pointing at me, trying to troll me and to bully me as I was teaching the class, then I would ask you to at least shut up politely and to maybe write them down and save your questions for later, or just don't come to this class if you're being a bigot or hateful. This video is like a class. Think of this video as a class in age gap love. If you come in with the bigoted opinions, then you are somebody that really just needs to stop talking. So, you do realize that feminism would help guys in this area, right? If we're talking about age gap love and men and women are treated equally, in the brain it kind of says, well, okay, then we're not all on different playing grounds. We're all on the same team because we're all human beings. You do realize how feminism would help men in the age gap love area, right? Because you look at that like, oh, well, you're Gen X, you're Gen Z, so there's no reasonable reason other than bigotry that these two generations can't link. So at that, you would be thinking, well, at that, racism, homophobia, and misogyny and stuff like that, ableism even, are foolish. You see how feminism does help men in this area. I'm not talking about how some feminists view women as more than guys. That's misandry. That's not feminism. That's something that we should be against as much as misogyny. One group better than the other is not really socialist, so it's not really left-wing. If a guy has to appeal with more money in order to be like the sugar daddy, well, that's also not really left-wing ways of thinking. That's capitalism. Feminism is okay as long as you're not making it capitalistic, where men and women can be big jerks towards each other because it's all about competition and money. That's sort of the problem that I had with Hillary Clinton, is the fact that she used feminism as a way of saying that women can be assholes in the boardroom too, which is wrong. So the problem is that as you get older, you kind of become less sexist. I live at a homeless shelter, so I'm around a lot of guys that are older than me. And I've been in weight training classes when I was in high school. Way more sexism and talking about how women are bitches in the high school than in the homeless shelter. And those homeless shelter guys are like, the vast majority of them are between 30 and like old as fuck. But like in high school, it was like 18-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds. Way more sexist. You know goddamn well that younger men are more sexist. You know this from your own experience. I'm not going to insult your intelligence and say that you don't know as women that young men are sexist and you hate it. You know this. Why you date them is foolish. And that's not even really ageist. There are men that are like 18 that aren't really... I was not very sexist. Most of my friends have always been women. I can prove that, but then I'd have to dox my friends. Do you understand how you even asking me to prove that makes you an asshole? Good. Because you're an asshole. I don't owe you anything. My medical chart says that I have diabetes, but it also says that my A1C's been dropping because I've been exercising and eating better. I haven't taken the insulin in 2 years. I stopped taking the insulin because I wanted to commit suicide, and then I got healthier because I got worried and started walking more. The diabetes can be going away. I don't check my blood sugars. It doesn't matter to me. I eat better and I walk. My A1C's been dropping. My feet feel better. If you got a problem with it, that's a problem with you. Don't make your problem my problem. Since I have bipolar, it doesn't say I have schizophrenia. It says a lot to me when you watch the videos and you notice that my anger is always about age phobia and classism. Is it not? Age phobia and classism. You're not mad at bigotry? Excuse you. Maybe it's not bipolar. I don't really care. I get a check from the government. I consider the CEOs bigger leeches. Think about it. You're a democratic socialist generation, for the most part. So you know that the CEOs hoard money and the poor people spend money in order to survive. The CEOs and the rich people, when the government gives them money, they just sock it away. You know this. If it's one of those things where it's like you have to only date Christians because you're a Christian, or only date atheists because you're an atheist, well, you're a bigot. If you start in with that he said, she said crap on me, like when you're talking about me as you're facing me, you start in like blah, 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 but you're talking about me, yeah, that's your own bigotry. You work on your problem. The whole thing where it's like, I need a Christian man because I'm a Christian girl. The whole thing where it's like you start in with the hate where it's like, ew, I don't want anything to do with you. It doesn't matter to me that you're being sarcastic. You're still being rude. Sarcasm is a bit rude. If we can't have a normal conversation where you're nice to me, we don't have a conversation. Well, I leave at that because I'm tired of having to say, look, I'm worthy. I don't really need to do that. The only medical problems that I have are bipolar, which actually might actually be because I'm mad at the bigotry. If you can't see that, well, I don't really care. I get the check. I cash it. I go to my meetings and stuff like that. I don't take psych meds. I'm not required to, so I don't. Your problem is your problem. You take your corporatist asshole attitude, gaslighting, narcissist bullshit away from me. We don't have a relationship when you're telling me what to do. I'm goddamn 40 years old. Don't tell me what to do. I don't care if you're 90 years old. Get your fucking finger out of my face, or you're going to be blocked. I don't care if we have blood relations. I don't care if you're my favorite parent. I don't care if you're a step parent and you're my favorite parent. You wagging your finger gets me to say, shut the fuck up. I'm 40, I'll make my own goddamn decisions. You go. Take it up with someone other than me. It's not my problem. It's your problem. Your life is not my life. Your DNA is my DNA. Sometimes your DNA is not my DNA. We have different life experiences. accept that, move on, get your fucking finger out of my face, or mine's coming out. Please save your questions. Don't ask rhetorical questions. And just listen. So we know that the age phobia would be against your political standing, Gen Z. We also know that the classism would be against your political standing, Gen Z, 90% of the time. We also know that it's misogynistic for you to expect IRL, if you're a democratic socialist or left-wing, for the guy to always be the pursuer. You understand that that is sexism. What you're saying is women are incapable of pursuing men, which is a sexist statement. You being on the left wing demanding men be the pursuer, or men being the guy with the most money, or having a certain level of money, or your age phobia, that's all right wing philosophy that needs to be sloughed off as bullshit. To what we're talking about right now in this video at this moment. It's kind of like you need to clean the wax out of your ears. So, are you saying that we should live in a sexist society where only men pursue? Well, then that's not left-wing, and that's not 90% of Generation Z. If this were a college classroom, the vast majority of the students would be Gen Z in 2020. You're 18 to 19 in a community college classroom, you're Gen Z. There's no debate here. Facts are facts. If you're saying I can't because I'm too hot-headed, well, you're only taking into account when I'm hot-headed. And also, what you're saying is that rock stars, rappers, comedians, celebrities, and most dudes that women are attracted to aren't hot-headed, when that's bullshit. Don't. You're not Gen Z. Don't interject your opinion. You're right-wing of where 90% of them are. Don't interject your opinion. Are you saying that you expect men to be misogynistic? Are you saying that you expect men to appeal with money? Are you saying that you expect men to appeal with their religion? Well, that's patriarchy, is it not? Are you going to start with the he said bullshit? Like, you're going to just do that? Who's the problem here? How about you? If I were a guy and I pursued you in public, I kind of feel IRL that that's sexist. If you're saying that women can't do that, you're a sexist. If you can't come up to me as a woman and say, "Hi, how are you?" with the intent of me becoming your boyfriend, why are you even talking to me? We could talk IRL, but why is it that whenever women want to talk to me, they always have boyfriends? Why is it that I always have to be the third wheel in the platonic friend? Why can't you just say things with evidence attached to them? These are all my questions. I'm not saying that you have to answer them. I'm not saying you have to write them down. I just want you to think about this. I'm being reasonable and I'm being optimistic, right? I'm being reasonable and optimistic. I'm being friendly enough. I'm being polite enough. You're not really pissed off at me at this moment. Okay, good. If you're mad at me, well, that's not my problem. I'm just trying to explain to you how I see it. And if that's a problem, I don't think that that's my problem. I think that that's your problem. Okay? I'm an atheist, so when I see Christians being hypocritical, I kind of have to thank Christianity for that, because you're just making people more atheist. You're placing doubt in the existence of God. Thanks. I actually appreciate that, because without the existence of God in a person's psyche, they will pursue things from a scientific standpoint, which is really what the world needs. They also look at that as like, do we really need to be assholes in order to get what we want in life? Is that an objectively, morally sound position? So in other words, they'll approach with logic and reason and evidence and science, rather than like what atheists view as myth. Myth, the occult, and religion to the atheist mindset is all exactly synonymous with each other. So, like, from my perspective, Christians tend to be a little bit hypocritical. Not only that, most religious people tend to be a bit hypocritical. Like the whole thing where it's like, oh, you're going to be helpful because you're left wing, but then you're going to run with the guy because he's got a fancy car or more money. I see that shit all the time. You're a helpful Christian, but dude shows up with a lot of money. You're like, ooh, you're a slut for that. Yeah, that's bullshit. Did we or did we not, just with Bernie Sanders alone, say, fuck you to the establishment of money? Well, then prove it. I live at a homeless shelter. And have an EBT card, and I have goals to I have a Patreon account, and I have goals with college, continuance of college from last year. We did a whole fuck you to the establishment. So like the age phobia, because you're Gen Z and I'm Gen X, doesn't fly. The greed where you have more than one girlfriend goes against your religion. In several verses against greed. The whole thing of like, you have more money so you think you deserve more girlfriends, even if they're punk rock. I see a lot of like this whole like left wing, but oh, dude's got more money so I'm going to ride in his car. That's a fuck you to the fuck you. The age phobia, the classism among the left wing, shitty. The misogyny of the dude always having to be the pursuer, shitty, not left wing. And so what I'm saying is, like, if you're not an atheist, your way of life seems a bit hypocritical. But I'm still waiting on atheists. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does the dude have to have more money than me when you're a left wing person or a socialist leaner? Really? Yeah. So, like, Spokane, what I'm saying is that I'm not really feeling the love from you. I mean, you'll say, yeah, well, we have love. Yeah, you do? Give me your phone number. Oh, but not that much because you're an age-phobic bigot? You gotta run up with the hate? You gotta be a classist? That's all the fucking things that I'm talking about as being hypocritical. Why not just let it go and just give me your phone number? Yeah, well, there you go. That's why I'm not feeling the love. You know, Christians, the Bible says to be fruitful and multiply. So, I mean, if you're not hooking me up with phone numbers or being my chicks, I have to thank you a little bit, because at least you're affirming that atheism is indeed the truest position. You're saying that there is no God, to me. Where are the women at? Hey, thanks for making atheism, Christians, if you want proof from your Bible that Christians aren't supposed to flock towards money, worship money, or to be greedy or classist, look no further than Proverbs 22:2, Matthew 6:24, and Luke 12:15. Christians, I'm pretty sure John 13:34 says that age phobia is wrong because Jesus hated bigots. John 13:34. Let me sum up what it meant to be a Bernie Sanders supporter in a few simple words. This is his position. The money in power sucks because it's controlling everything. Money controls everything, and that sucks, and we need to stop that. Of course, if you're Generation Z or a millennial, like 80-90% of you get that already. Fine. Me too. I live at a homeless shelter. I have an EBT card. I get like $15,000 a year when I'm in school, and a lot of it comes from having bipolar. If you're an ableist, cut loose, don't talk to me. Lineup is at 6 p.m. Be there, college girls. I'm not here to tolerate age phobes because you're a bigot, nor classists because you're a bigot. But you were for Bernie Sanders, so you get that. Line up. I have enough ex-girlfriends to where I can safely say none of them said to me, "Oh, you don't have enough money, so I'm not going to date you." And then we ended up dating. I mean, if you're for Bernie Sanders, or were at one point, you understand the position of greed, money, and power, and bigotry and power sucking. So, like, age phobia and classism? Fucks with that. Oh, you're Gen Z and I'm Gen X. Yeah, what you need to understand, and most of my friends are women. I'm not going to dox my friends to prove it to you, but oh well. Like, you can't date me because I'm too old for you, I'm 20 years older than you, or don't have enough money. Seems to be the roadblocks. So, why are you a classist? Why are you an age phobe? I've dated Gen X, I've dated a baby boomer. Millennials were shitty towards me, and Gen Z seems to only want me as a platonic friend. Well, I'm not really interested in only that. I like you Zoomers. I want to date you. If that's a problem, fine, but it's your problem. Hey, look, I get it. Like, starting a family costs money. Dating doesn't really cost money because I've dated. I have like $1,000 saved up. I get money, and it reaches like the $2,000 point. I can take a larger sum of money out for dating if you really want me to prove it with money. But doesn't that defeat your position as being a Christian or a Bernie Sanders supporter, or both? So I mean, if you're not a Bernie Sanders supporter or weren't, I kind of see you as somebody who worships money. And if you don't like what I said, read Mark 23, atheists and Christians, because Jesus was against the worship of money. He was violent about it, but I choose not to be violent. I'm not a pacifist, but I am non-violent. I wouldn't have a Patreon account if I didn't want to get money to start a family with you. That's why I have a Patreon account. Because, like, if you want to start a family with me one day, then, well, I would probably need money. Never mind the fact that there's plenty of poor people that have kids. You being a classist about it, or maybe you just want a better position for your kids. You're in college anyway. If you look at me as different
because I'm 20 years older than you, you're a bigot. If you don't like me, I don't see why you're talking to me. I'll just block you for being shitty towards me. I'm on Patreon. I'm doing what I can. If you're going to be a hateful person towards me, I don't really see the point of talking to you anymore. You kind of come off as a Republican to me.